Hey Shane,
Hey, how you doing,
this
Mitch?
sound familiar?
Yes.
Our new single. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey brother, it is an honor on every level to be doing this with you. To the World Funk Group, we've introduced him in a graphic, but he's so much more uh, animated in person. This is Shane Foster, our guru of all things marketing, DSPs, and a soon-to-be Harvard Business School student. Shane Foster.
Hey, there. How everybody's going, man? How you doing? Pleasure being here, man. Appreciate you having me today, Mitch.
Oh man, are you kidding? So we were first introduced by Neil Levine, another icon, and
Legendary.
legendary man. He's like just a way cool guy who at one point in my life was actually in the early days of my music career was actually my saxophone player, if you could believe it. And
Awesome.
and Neil
Really?
realized he was his future was in marketing, so he went and did that, and he's had this like ridiculous career. And the universe rewarded us when we started doing World Funk Orchestra when we needed someone to help navigate the world of DSPs, which very few people really know. With all due respect to everybody, and he said he's only got one person to recommend, and that was former Master Sergeant Shane Foster. Um,
How you
so
doing?
Hey man, we'll talk a little bit about World Funk Orchestra and your role in it, and then we really want to talk about you because you're just I just have so much respect and love for you, which has been pretty quick, and you know you're just such a straight shooter and such a great guy. What when we first asked you, like, and you saw the person on the other end talking about world music look like me and came from Brooklyn, like, did that strike you as like, what's up with this?
Oh, very surprising. Because the vibe I got from it was I thought it would have been definitely, just sonically listening. I was like, oh, that's South Africa, Cape Town. And it was just funny when we started having a conversation going further into he's like, oh no, like we're rapping Cape Town too, and we're in New York. I was like, oh, okay, my ear is good. My ear is good. The sound is right. Always wanted to work in that demographic of the world. Even as a brand with DFD music, like we pretty much work with every country now. Well, every major country area region now. So it kind of like completed that threshold. We worked with a K-pop South Korean artist. We worked with Jamaican artists. We worked with European, UK artists, Canada artists, Mexico artists, Puerto Rico and Dominican. And so it's like South America. I mean, the list goes on. So we pretty much cover our part. As far as our like one of our little big goals we have for our company and our brand was to like try to work with all music, all walks of life, and just to see that from coming over for the military, that kind of like fell right into place.
You know, coming from the military, you understand the power of power. Above everything else, what is the power of music? Is it real or is it what I imagine?
Music is a universal language. That's one thing I learned in a lifetime is music is a universal language. Wherever you go out in the world, people are gonna like something that we can all relate to, which is normally through music. You might not like this person, might not like this person for that reason, but when it comes to the music, hey, Michael Jackson, oh man, that's everybody agrees. That's an iconic, artist, and that's a super, he's a super great artist, and he makes great music, right? So me bringing to fruition, working on the projects that are like, demo for a world just makes me even better as a person, makes me feel better and goes back into the focus of my mission on like why I really like to do music and why I love and why I'm passionate about it.
The purpose of today's call is a big part of what we do at World Funk. The mission of World Funk is to really give back, try to use that power of music and the healing power of music. And I like to think it's in our lyrics, in our spirit, in the music, which I hope is welcoming or thought provocative. And with you, not only are you, just someone that's really continuously unraveling the code of how to really speak to that first audience, which is the algorithm. But when we discovered that you had a not-for-profit, it was like,
Yeah.
come on, Shane, let's jump. We got to jump on the phone and turn attention to your cause and to try to help. So, what is the name of the foundation, first of all?
DFD Music Foundation.
And that's also DFD, which is your company.
Yeah, DFD Music. So the funny thing about our name is it's very simple. People think like, what does the DFD stand for? So my partner last name is Davis. My last name is Foster. His last name is Davis. So we just kind of just came up on the way. Like Davis Foster Davis, he's an artist and he's also a producer as well. I'm more of an artist from a creative standpoint, and I also produce as well too. But it was just like, oh, let's have a double threat. And we were just trying to think of like different ways to kind of like put it together. And the way we came up with like DFD, originally we had somebody else last name that was Davis too, that no longer wanted to do music. Well, not wanted to do music, but went on to do greater things in life that was more in his passion line. But we still ended up keeping that D, and was like, well, it's just, now you're the double threat. And it was like, oh, it's double, and then, we just came over. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna keep the name. Like it's gonna be DFD.
So it's like a Davis cookie, and you're the cream filling, so to speak.
Yeah, the great feeling. Yeah, that's the way to look at it.
So with the DFD Foundation, what specifically do you do? You have events, you give away things, and you said working with musicians. So do you work with musicians and veterans? Is it virtual? Is it in person? A mix of both?
Yeah, so more likely is in person. So like, say for instance, we in a small town that's just lower urban development, especially in the state of Georgia, a lot of areas like that outside of Atlanta. We might get with some local DJs because I consider them musicians too. A lot of people sleep on the DJs, but they are creative as well. Also, we're radio personalities. Pretty much a lot of people working in the entertainment industry that are either ex-military or affiliated to some kind of military, or just want to understand like where we're coming from a military perspective and how we got into the music industry. So we try to get with more or less to say like-minded individuals, like-minded, whether it be veteran or civilian. But for the most part, it has been working out that it has been veterans too. Like, oh yeah, my auntie was veteran. Like, oh, you're a veteran too. Well, my dad raised me in the military, so it's kind of like, oh, you're kind of a veteran too, because you still to do some of the same hardships and a lot of stuff that we go through too as service members.
So HQ and me personally, we've gotten to work with a lot of vets and people that really put themselves second, for everyone else. Have you ever done a virtual event, like, whether it's would that appeal to you at all?
That would appeal, yeah, absolutely. This is something that I haven't done. I've been wanting to do it ever since COVID, but I don't know, for some reason, it just always worked out. I can actually be in person, so it's just that's the way it worked.
What if you had someone that was willing to be the guest on that? Someone that might actually have a little bit different bent on even music, maybe say world music and positivity.
Absolutely open to it. Absolutely.
So I'm that knucklehead that volunteers first.
Yes, sir.
On behalf of, well, I call you sir, and but on behalf of World Funk Orchestra, I'd love to be a part of that and love to volunteer to do a session as soon as you can set it up. We'd love to do that for you, 100%.
Absolutely, let's do it.
And talk about a career in music, just share music, a career outside of music, and how you could how the possibilities are always open. Because as you and I both know, anything is possible, and against all odds is life, basically. At what point, when you were into a successful and pretty secure military career, did you decide that you were going to go out and do music? And by the way, what was the reaction? I know the answer to this, that's why it's safe me asking. What was the reaction to your peers in the military when you said, oh yeah, I'm not doing this anymore, now I'm going to go be a music artist?
So, just backtracking and get a backstory. Music's never been out of the theory, right? It's dreams, like they always say, dreams are deferred and not dreams felt, right? So I've always been involved in entertainment throughout my career, even parallel to the military. Just not like, you have to give music 100% in order to be successful. I never was able to give that 100% due to my military obligation. So when it got towards, I think after my 5th deployment, right, 5 combat deployments, after my last deployment, I was like, I had enough. And I started transitioning, preparing myself to transition out. And then people were like, what are you going to do? A lot of times people project their fears onto you. And that's big in the culture that I learned in the military. A lot of the senior leaders there try to project their fears. Like, oh, don't get out. You've almost made it to the top. Like, why would you get out now? That's crazy. And it's like, no, like my goals are just bigger and my dreams are bigger. So I was like, I want to do music. And I literally, when I said it a bunch, a lot of peers that I respected and looked up to at the moment, they laughed. And I have that chip on my shoulder forever. I don't think I ever let that chip go away off my shoulder. And it made me even go harder. Like I was like, all right, I had a different plan, and I was like, you know what? Just to make it even more bulletproof, I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna go back to school. And I already had a degree in legal studies and stuff. I was like, okay, now I'm going back to school. I'm going back to school. I really want to understand this. I did various internships, like really gave it my all, 100%, which ended up working out. It probably was the nudge that I needed to make sure in tune that I'd be successful. So shout out to everybody that was in that room that laughed at me, because the joke's back. Because like that first year, the second year, I ended up attending the Grammys. It wasn't mentioned up, but just to attend, like, it was just a great accolade. And then after that, started charting on Billboard and mentioned in various, radio. And like, it was like, it's finally, it's happening. It was just happening. I had a great job. I was with Live Nation. That was happening. It was like, so I still had this very, I was able to, have both sides. Say I could be an artist, and it was like balanced. And I was also being an exec, learning the marketing and getting more into the marketing side of things. So I was like, oh yeah, like the joke's like, I'm glad this is like the best decision I ever made in my life. And, and I'll never take it back. Like, I'm glad that it happened when it happened. And just, it gave me that extra push that I needed to like get to where I'm at today.
So how into it with DFD, the business, was it before you decided that you'd have DFD, the foundation, or was that just going to be an automatic thing that you were going to do?
That was an automatic. So the thing, so funny. So I had this tax attorney. Shout out to shout out to Ebony Stewart. She was a tax attorney, and I was doing all these, during our taxes, and I was like, yeah, I gave away, X amount of dollars to this person and that person for this and that. She's like, why don't you have a foundation? I was like, huh. I didn't know, I had no clue like how to go. I don't know why. Just call me being not ignorant, but like, you only know what you know, right? So in my mind, it was like, foundation, like, you made it. You have all this money to give away, and et cetera, et cetera. It's like, no, like, here's like what you got to do. Here's all the paperwork you got to fill out, and it's just the process, and it's really on you to get everything done, and then you have a foundation. I was like, that's it. You only know what you know, right? So I was glad to learn from that, and we were able to set it up. And it made it like even more better, because then people wanted to donate more instead of like, nobody wants to give me money, but if you have something there to where they see what's happening. I've forked out like most of our money that we made went back into the community. So it's like people see that and they want to be a part of it. Of course, the tax benefit is cool, but really the main thing is like the support that and the look on the kid's face. Like we showed up, I had 200 kids that we pulled up on and like changed their whole Christmas. Like I had a whole 2 trucks full of toys, and we're just giving out bags and stuff. So like to have that kind of impact on a child's life, that, because I know being a child, we're very we take everything in subjectively, and it lasts for a lifetime. Stuff that are horrible, we always remember. Things that are great in our childhood, we'll never forget. So it's great to be a part of some of these kids, like legacy. Like I call it immortality. That's an even deeper term I like to use for. It's like forever, and until that kid or whoever I helped along the way, my name will forever, be a part of something. My brand will forever be a part of something for someone's life. So that's been the biggest thing for me. Is like just create more immortality for we all got to go one day, but like at least I don't want the brand or my name or everything I've done to be in vain.
Well, you're well on that way, sir. Well, I feel like we've covered a lot of you, but there's always one more thing. Up till now, we've offered our services. Of course, we've duly praised you for your brilliance and your way of figuring out the algorithms of the world, literally. But I'm going to do something I haven't done before. So Jenna's been listening, and she's been working with you all this time, and she's a documentarian herself. Jenna, what question might you have for Master Sergeant Foster?
Well, I'm sorry, first class.
Sergeant First Class Foster.
I know. Yeah, I don't want nobody to get misconstrued with the rank thing. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Put me on the spot here. I would just want to know more about like what's the word? The pipeline, I guess, from the different like facets of what you do. I feel like every time I talk to you, I learn a new thing. Like I knew you were a nonprofit, but I didn't I'm finding more about it today. I thought it was something completely different than what it actually was also. And then, you're one day you're, talking to us about, our marketing and advertising. And then the next day you're like going into Harvard Business School. And then the next day I literally feel like I'm learning something new every time I talk to you or I check your Instagram or something like that. So just like the pipeline from A to B to C is, I like would love to like learn more and whatever else I don't know so that it's not a surprise.
Yeah. So
It's more, by the way, Shane, it's not a pipeline, it's a superhighway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the main thing I guess I like to closing that gap was like I try to motivate artists, right? Artists sometimes feel like they can only just be a creative and everybody else has to do all this stuff. So I took away that I'm pretty much showing you like I'm sure artists because I'm a creative too. I create and make music and I get it. So it is a little extra push that I do have to push myself through, especially with struggling with the PTSD and then also with some of the cognitive disorders I have too as well. So that part makes it a challenge for me. What I feel like for me is it gives me like a sense of I did it, sense of accomplishments. But not only that, just trying to showcase like, hey, not only am I a successful artist, but like this is what I did to get to this level, right? And a lot of times as creators, we think it's like all this stuff that has to happen, right? Which is the old school way of thinking. If you think about it, artists nowadays are a DTC, right? Which means like we're direct to consumer. We don't have to be on TV now. We don't have to have all this print and all this stuff. We literally can record music off our laptop in a mic, upload it on the various distribution platforms, and then the world has access to you as an artist. Whereas I try to showcase like, yeah, now you just got to fill in the void of what didn't happen, why it happened, even though back in the day, you had to go through, you had to be an artist look and you had to go through press and
you needed permission, right?
You needed permission. Exactly. You needed gratification from other people, which I feel like now I don't seek gratification from more. So it's like, whenever I want to learn more, I just say, man, what does it take if I can just get in the room and, 5-6 hours a week and learn this? And then I just do my online research. And that's how I found about Harvard Business School, which was an even super small world with a recommendation, kind of all the line perfect. Because found like these certain various people that I was entwined with had graduated. They were super alumni. And it was easier, and it was like, oh yeah, I think that'd be a great program. Like, and then I'm looking at, the way the industry's moving is in the digital marketing space. It's a constantly evolving space. And if you're not constantly learning, I feel like you get stuck in the box to doing things one way where it's constantly evolving. You have to be able to articulate and understand like the different trends and the different analytics are, being put right in front of you and understand what's happening and how to pivot and come up with new ways to to remarket your music. Because for every little wave, I think everybody was going viral and then everybody was doing this and everybody kind of like mimics each other, especially in the artistry world. But not just from a music standpoint. I'm looking at it from a business. And even though it is music business, that's why I try to get artists to see like, no, you got to operate as a business, not just being talented and pulling out cool stuff, but you got to understand that you are a business, that you're trying to put your product in front of the world. So that's like normally like my pipeline for that. So I try to give like best practices for both ends. Because like I said, being a creative too is one, but I've been leaning more on the executive because that's always been my end goal in life was like to be this, I should, I want to be like Quincy Jones, Clive Davis. Like I wanted to be like these big, mega, they wasn't even that. They were, music and talent, but they were more in a business. They was a powerhouse on the business. They knew how to articulate. People loved them. So I always see myself in that, and that's always been like my end goal. Like I say, immortality. When I die and gone, I want people still to be talking about like, oh, remember Shane Foster that did DFD music and these big records and that. Yeah, that's how I want to be. Like that's how I want to be remembered. So that's why I've always strived like down these pipelines, and I know I have to go through certain avenues to get the full package to be able to strive through and be even greater. Like I never really want to be like them, but in a per sense, like I just want to be my own person, but like just be the best person I can be.
Shane Foster from DFD Music. He's the F in the middle of the D and the D and Davis and Davis. He's Foster. He is the ex-sergeant first class, not, as I have that right. And he is really our collaborative partner in so much of what we do with World Funk Orchestra. And then the point of today, right from the beginning, Shane has always been one who's given back and been of service. And for that, we thank you for your service across the board. And we've talked today about DFD Foundation, which is here for vets and kids. And and people who are in trouble and people who need help. You know, we can never do enough for the service people. And in our generation, Shane, hopefully we got it a little bit right, as opposed to previous generations, which saw the military, ex-military as like the bad guys. Well,
Right, correct.
now, you know, these are people that are giving themselves for others at the end of the day. And when there's a problem, that's where we look, you know, in addition to diplomacy. We have so much love for you, brother. And thank you so much for being with
Thank
us
you.
today.
Thank you guys too. All right.
Thank you, Shane.
DFD Foundation. Thank you.